Hello guys, si Shadowrun Pelosa ulit ito at welcome sa episode 52 ng laro tayo ng Shadowrun Hong Kong Extended Edition. So tuloy na natin yung game natin. Last episode, ginagawa na natin itong the sinking ship na mission. Yung special Shadowrun ni Gobet. Hang Hong Bay, Captain Jomo's converted speedboat chops through the rough water like a cleaver through chicken bones, launching you skyward with every wave that it hits. Your destination? The sinking ship, Gobet's former home. The orc pirate laughs and opens the throttle. Wind and rain lash your face as the floating amalgamation of shipping containers grows larger. You can see that it's stacked at least 3 containers deep. An inelegant brick of corrugated saan dito na tayo? Tuloy ko lang. An inelegant brick of corrugated weathering steel. An assortment of pontoons, buoys, and other flotation devices have been lashed to the base of the raft to prevent it from tipping. You don't know what's happening here, or why Gobet felt the need to go face it alone. But one way or another, you're about to find out. Okay. So last episode yun, nakapunta tayo dito, so bababa na tayo sa lower deck. So go. Nandito na tayo sa next section. Upon descending the ladder, you find yourself in the camp confines of a shipping container. Interior walls have been erected of corrugated aluminum and doors have been cut to allow passage from compartment to compartment. The air down here is ripe with the odor of rotting garbage. Sorry about the state of the place. The rats have kept our work crews too busy to worry about hauling the garbage. But now that you're here, we'll be able to set things right. Kill off those little bastards once and for all. We need to root out your devil rat infestation. Any idea where they're nesting? Before we go after the rats, I want you to take me to someone in a position of authority on this wreck. Malvina or Cadmus, say? We're gonna look around here for a bit before we go anywhere. Ito, tuloy na natin. Yeah, down below. They're breathing on the level beneath our feet. There's a way down on the other side of the deck. I don't like this tank. We don't know enough about what else is going on down there. What else would be going on? We're trying to hold out against devil rats that are trying to eat us, and the raft's going to hell while we're doing it. Please just let us take you to the other side of the raft. You have to help us. You promised. Show us where we need to go. She's right. We need more intel before we commit to anything. Okay, show us where we need to go. Alam. Follow us. We'll take you right there. Get below deck. Reach the bottom deck. Hindi natin nasundan kung saan sila nagpunta eh. Pero assume lang natin na dito. The door is heavily reinforced and barricaded. It'd take a bulldozer to get it open. Next area. Dalawang pintuan. Tapos may ilaw pa din. May lighting pa dun ha. Ay teka. Meron dito eh. Ano yan? These scratches look like they were made by claws, but they're much longer than anything that a devil rat could make. Ano kaya yun? Another squatter. This one more beaten up than most. Bloody bandages wrap his knuckles, and one of his orbital sockets has been crushed, deforming the silhouette of his face. He peers at you with a mixture of suspicion and hostility. Don't recognize you. That means that you're new here. His voice comes out in a hoarse croak. You picked a bad place to go sightseeing, outsider. You okay, man? You don't look so good. I don't know, the place has its charms. No, I'm not okay. I'm all beaten up and going blind in one eye. Now tell me what you want so I can be on my way. He spits the words out like venom. What's your name? Walk away. We're looking for a friend of ours, a female orc, about 19 years old, calls herself Goblin. Tell me what. Tell me about the sinking ship. I want to hear your take on what's happening. Ito na muna. What's your name muna? Ivan Fu. My name's Ivan Fu. That's all. I can go. That's all. Can I go? We're looking for a friend of ours, a female orc. Sige. Diyan ka na lang muna. Nagmamadali ka mo eh. Ito na muna, dito muna. Terminal. Water drips down from a leak in the ceiling to spatter against the case of this ancient terminal. It's a miracle that the thing is still functioning. A blinking green cursor awaits your input. Okay, access natin yung terminal. Tingnan natin kung ano to. Post serve 1.1 freeware. Mail client. User Chung Sun Anson. Mail. Reply. New regs. Reply. Damned rats. Reply. Quarantine. Reply. Meeting. Unang message. Basahin natin. Chung Sun Anson. To Beastly Malvina. We need to talk about these new regulations that you keep handing down. Look, I used to be a merchant marine. I get it. I know how important procedure is on a boat, and I know the mindset that you're working against. But some of these new regulations siguro yun, regs, are bordering on draconian, and they're getting in the way of our maintenance crews downstairs. Order is a good thing. Micromanaging isn't. So let's talk about it, okay? ACS. Okay. Second message. Changsun Arson. To Huang Cadmus. We've got a hell of an infestation going on in the lower levels, and we need to start doing something about it. Can I count on you and your boys to help me with this? I know that M would frown on what I'm proposing, but she isn't doing anything to help. We have to keep matters into our own hands before things get ugly. ACS. Okay. Pangatlo, quarantine. Changsun Arson. To Huang Cadmus. This was exactly what I was afraid of. See? Those bloody rats have eaten us, out of house and home, and now that their food supply is gone, they've decided to turn on us. It's pretty clear that M can't or won't use her magic to fix this, so it's on us to deal with the fallout. I've had the upstairs maintenance crew set aside a couple of containers as a quarantine area sick room. It's inevitable that we're gonna start seeing people getting sick, and we need a place to shelve them. If we don't do this, we're going to have a panic on our hands. Vitus deaths aren't pretty. ACS. Okay, last message. Meeting. Chang Sun Arson to Huang Yasmin. Yes, tell your brother that I got his note and that I'll be there. I don't know what all of this is about, but I have a guess, and if I'm right, well, I'm in. Things have to change around here for all of our sakes. ACS. Okay, sino naman to? A slender human woman in shabby overalls looks up from her work with a frown. You can't help but notice the scars on her neck. Ayun ba yan? Ship inhabitant. Do I know you? What are you doing on this raft? We're looking for a friend. We're looking for a friend of ours. She's an orc, about 19, goes by the name of Gobbet. Have you seen her? We're here to help you. Could you answer a few questions for me? She frowns. Alright, but make it quick. I've got work to do. What's your name? She eyes you warily. I'm nobody important, just a worker trying to keep this thing afloat. Let's leave it at that, if you please. Have you had any close encounters with the devil rats? Yeah, don't go downstairs unless you absolutely have to. The lower decks are absolutely crawling with the things. Thank you. Yeah, thanks. And be careful out there. Ano tong next room? Ay, magkadikit lang pala. Ship inhabitant na naman. This squatter is in need of immediate medical attention. Her torso is a gory mess, and an ever-expanding pool at her feet tells you that she's well on the way to bleeding out. She peers at you through sunken eyes set into an alarmingly gray face. Please, help me. Healing magic, wala tayo yan. Biotech 7, wala. Sorry, but I can't. Wag naman. Ito, may medikit naman tayo eh. Patch her up. Hold still. This might sting a little. You crack open a medikit and go to work. Within minutes, you run on a saline drip into her arm and sealed the wound with liquid skin. A final slap patch of adrenaline and painkillers gets the woman up and onto her feet. Shakily, she extends a hand in greeting. I don't know who you are, strangers, but you just saved my life. If I can ever return the favor, you let me know. We're looking for a friend of ours, a female orc, about 19 years old. Have you seen her? She shakes her head. Afraid not. I haven't been able to focus on much since I took that bullet to the gut. Been fading in and out. If your friend is here, then I hope he managed to avoid the welcoming committee. The two locals that we met at topside, you mean? An elf and a dwarf? She nods. I don't trust them, and you shouldn't either. Don't know where their loyalties lie. We'll keep it in mind. Thanks for letting us know. O, buti na lang nagtanong tayo ng ganito. She shrugs. Like I said, I owe you my life. Giving you a friendly warning is the least I can do. What's your name, friend? Maria Lamb. My friends call me Sparrow. It's good to meet you, Sparrow. She chuckles. Better luck for me that I met you. If I hadn't, I think that I'd bleed out by now. How did you get that? How did you get shot? I was a part of the last mutiny attempt. Made it through that all right. But I guess that I also made some enemies. I don't know who shot me, but it's a fair bet that someone on this boat is holding a grudge. Okay. Alright, but if you ever need anything else, you know where to find me. Okay. Dami ng dugo. Hindi naman siya ano. Ito siya. Local inhabitant. A middle-aged woman with a slouching posture stands with her back to a reinforced door. With a languid motion, she turns her head to stare at you. New folks, I'll be damned. She shifts position with a grunt. The hell are you doing in here? Sige, pakilala muna tayo. Who are you? Name's Lisa. You can call me Les, though. Everybody on the raft does. We're looking for a friend of ours. Maybe you've seen her. What's behind that door here? Ito na. She shakes her head. No. Hope, nope. I ain't seen your friend, sorry. You don't even know what our friend looks like yet. How can you say for sure you haven't seen her? No one's come down here today but you. Not a soul. Didn't see anyone yesterday either. And I can't remember much past then. She smiles, revealing a crumbling set of nicotine-stained teeth. Bad memory. Can't do a thing about it. Wag natin tanong yan. Personal na yan eh. Baka mamaya mag-aalit tong mga to sa atin eh. Saan ba yung pupuntahan natin kasi? Ito muna. May entrance doon pero ito muna. May room na naman dito eh. Ship inhabitant naman nakalagay. The man standing before you looks cleaner than most of the other squatters on the sinking ship. There are no streaks of grease on his cheeks, and his clothes look freshly laundered. He leers at you as you approach. Well, what have we here? Strangers on our humble raft, exploring her leaking bowels. The man grins, revealing the cavernous gap in his teeth. He hefts a snifters brimming with cognac in salute. Welcome to the sinking ship, strangers. Now tell me what you want. Who are you? You may address me as Mercurio. He bows slightly, the cognac sloshing in his glass. At your service. What do you do on the raft? A bit of this, a bit of that. I'm an artist, or rather, I used to be an artist and a socialite, and a man about town. He spreads his hands. By town I mean raft, of course. Now, I mostly find myself shut away here on the sinking ship's upper deck. I've been festering away here for months, desperately clinging to the finer things in life. He sniffs. Quite the tale of woe, really. That's it? You just loiter around and socialize? So what you're saying is that you're basically useless? Wag naman. A fine and noble profession. He takes another sip, swilling the brandy in his mouth. But you're a street-level operative, no? Blue-collar work? I wouldn't expect you to understand. He pauses for a moment, considering. Speaking of blue-collar work, I have something here that might interest you. Would you like to see it? That depends on what it is. He turns to a nearby table and lifts a battered lozenge of black plastic. He holds it out to you. It's just a data pad, nothing sinister. This belonged to a maintenance tech that I once knew. I have no idea what happened to her, but she hasn't been seen in weeks. And you're giving me this why? And you're giving this to us why? I look after it. Thank you. Tanong natin. To earn your favor, you've come to the sinking ship rather well armed after all. He shoots a glance at Isabel's rifle and raises an eyebrow. I'd rather ingratiate myself to you now before the bullets start flying. Okay, take the data pad. We'll take it. Thank you. Mission item. Take the data pad. Anytime. I wasn't using the thing anyway. The schematics on that device are all quite arcane to me, I'm afraid. We're looking for a friend of ours, an orc, 19 years old. Goes by the name of Gobbet. Ang tanong na rin natin, matino siya kausap eh. Orc? And she ran away from you? Did she? He grins. Ran all the way here to our little palace on the water? Have you seen her or haven't you? Insistent little thing, aren't you? He puts his stiff to his crystal of his snifter and slurps up a mouthful of liquor. No, I haven't seen your runaway friend, but if I do run into her, I'll tell her that you're looking. Okay, no, walk away. Check natin kung para saan yung datapad na yan. A cheap datapad full of instructions and notes from a member of the sinking ship's maintenance crew. Okay, next area. Ano to? Some tags. They seem relatively fresh. They haven't been here long. Power outlet. An open junction box juts out from the wall, its cover hanging by a single screw. Wires crisscross over one another in a chaotic jumble, and the whole apparatus appears to be held together with electrical tape. Jury rigged, like everything else here. She frowns at the tangle of wiring, clacking her tongue in disapproval. That's really sloppy work. You'd think that in an environment like this, they'd at least try to do some basic waterproofing. She traces the wall-mounted cables that snake out from the box with her eyes, follows them to their termination point. Looks like the box is feeding power to that door over there. If we were to short it, we might be able to get the thing open. Item. Maintenance datapad. Follow the instructions to disarm the door locks. You examine the rat's nest of wires, tracing each connection to its point of origin. Following the instructions on the datapad, you then snip and rewire the system to feed power back into itself. The results of your work are immediate and spectacular. You hear a deafening cracking sound, and a blinding flash of light stabs your eyes. Moments later, the halls fill with the overpowering stench of ozone. The overhead lights flutter up ahead. You can hear the sound of a set of door locks disengaging. So itong pintuan na to. Pero wag na muna dyan. Tignan nga natin ulit yung isang kung bumukas din yun. Ay, ano yun? May item pala ron, hindi ko napansin. Ano yan? There are deep gashes in the steel wall of the container. They look like they were made by a blade of some kind. There's no way that rat claws could do this. Check muna natin sa pintuan dito. Ayun, bukas na yung isang pintuan na yun. Pero may nakaharang siya eh. Ito hindi pwedeng buksan. At least yung isa bukas na. Libot muna tayo sandali. Ito pintuan din to eh. Pero wag muna. Ito pa sa taas muna. The local up ahead beckons you forward. It's just up this way, through this door here. As you approach, something catches your eye. A vent in the wall behind the locals. Movement. Something living must be hidden inside. Behind you, more devil rats. Panic-stricken, they begin to turn their weapons raised. There is a flurry of motion and something large explodes out of the vent. Si Gobbet pala. Gobbet lands in a crouch, her weapon raised. Don't go in there, it's a trap. Okay, so pasaway tong dalawan to. Dali. Sabay kayo, ha? The blooded local tosses her gun aside and raises a pair of trembling hands. Her eyes wide have gone wide with terror. Hmm. I'm sorry. We didn't want to do it. We didn't have a choice. The words came spilling out in a frantic babble. It ordered us to. What it? What are you talking about? Explain yourself. I don't know what it is. It talks with Malvina's voice, but it isn't her. Helpless tears stream down her cheeks, clinging to her skin like beads of dew on a leaf. If you want to live, you have to do what it says. I'm going to let you live. Don't make me regret it. Kill the squatter. You're going to lead us into a trap. Nobody does that and lives. Wag. Wag naman. Ano na, napilitan lang sila eh. Wag naman. The squatter collapses against the wall, sobbing uncontrollably. Gobbet dusts herself off and paces towards you. Hey, Seattle. I don't remember inviting you on this run, but I guess that I'm glad you could make it. She jerks her head toward the squatter's ruined body. You're welcome, by the way. Wanna tell me what the hell is going on here, Gobbet? We're welcome. We're welcome? Gobbet, we came out here to help you. Are you alright? We came looking for you. Ito na lang. Really? I thought you were visiting the sinking ship for its wonderful food and beautiful views. He flashes you a weak smile. And yeah, I'm okay. Look, I'm sorry about the sudden entrance and everything. I wish that I'd had time to explain what was going down, but I didn't because, well, she shrugs. Trap. Yeah, you mentioned that. What kind of trap are we talking about? The kind where you end up dead. Look, I don't know exactly what they were planning to do, but I've seen them lead people through those doors before. She gestures towards the heavy double doors at the end of the hall. The people who I watched go in there never came back out again. Not a one. They'd just scream and scream, and when the doors opened up again, they'd be gone. Well, thanks for the warning. So you don't actually know what's in there? Ito na lang. She shrugs. Don't mention it. There is a long awkward pause. Finally, Isabel steps forward. So now that we're all together, do you want to tell us why you came back here all by yourself? We'd have gone with you, Gobbet. All that you had to do was tell us. She raises her hand. Yeah, I know. But I figured that this one was on me, and I didn't want to wait another minute. Besides, I had a plan. You're on a boat full of hostiles, by yourself in the dead of night, being hunted by devil rats. That doesn't sound like a great plan to me. Yeah? And what kind of plan was that? Ito na lang. A pretty simple one. All I wanted to do was get the lay of the land, sneak around a little, maybe find my old friends and get some answers. I didn't come here to get into a firefight, and it's easier it's easier to be quiet solo than it would be dragging you two around. No offense. So you've accepted the place. So you've scoped the place out. Fine. Mission accomplished. Do you know what you're doing now? Yeah, this place is fucked. I'm gonna sink it. Wait a second. What? The sinking ship is doomed. Seattle. The sinking ship is doomed, Seattle. I could feel that the second I set foot on board. She checks herself. Earlier than that, even. On some level, I think that I could feel it back home. That's why I couldn't stop thinking about this place. Whatever is happening here, it's wrong. This whole place feels off to me. Somehow, somehow, maybe even toxic. I came back to find my friends, Cadmus and Malvina, to check on them. Instead, I found a swarm of man-eating rats, a death trap, and a bunch of squatters who seem intent on killing me. Her tone becomes brisk. So I'm going to kill him right back, and I'm gonna use the scuffling charges that are still embedded in the hull to do that. I've already handled the ones in this level, but I haven't gone down below yet. We need to activate the charges below the water line if we're gonna bring this sucker down. And so that's where you're heading next, downward? Not quite. On account of the trap, I don't know how to get past it yet. She frowns. Minor setback, right? So my next step was to figure that out. Makes sense to me. Time to go ask some pointed questions then. We haven't found Cadmus or Malvina yet. They could still be alive somewhere, maybe even on this level. I've got a better idea. Let's pick up and go home. Let's pack up and go home. Ato na lang. Yeah, maybe. I hope so because of all the people on this raft. Cad is the one I'd most trust to get us past whatever's in that room. He was always more of a mechanic than he was a shaman. We have to figure out how to get past the trap. I get that. But let's keep our eyes open. While we're doing that, there could be more going on here than you realize. Let's get this over with. The sooner we learn how to get past that room, the sooner we can blow this thing and go home. Ito na lang. May mga nakatira dyan tas ikipain mo. I seriously doubt it. Remember what I told you about second guessing? He isn't second guessing anything. We haven't seen enough to make a decision yet. You may have, but we haven't. Gabet lets out an exasperated sigh. Alright, you wanna look around? We'll do that. But afterwards, we're arming the rest of those charges. Let's move. Okay, so anong objectives natin for now? Wala pa, reach the bottom lang. So save muna natin. Progress din yan kahit papaano eh. Okay. May 13 minutes pa tayo. Okay, explore muna tayo, teka. So dito di siya makapasok doon. So fine. Yung muna ibang pintuan. Ito, buksan natin yung nakalock. Feeling ko andito si Cadmus eh. Tignan mo natin kung ano yun. This door is... ayun, umulit lang. The woman standing guard duty nods in acknowledgement. Strangers, you picked a bad time to come visit. And you're a terrible door guard. Or aren't you looking out for gun-toting strangers? We aren't visiting, we're looking for a friend. Yeah, it's a bad habit of mine. Are you guarding the room against the rats? Yes. She hefts her weapon, her eyes glued to the door. The rats and the thing that's controlling them, I've never seen it myself, but I've heard stories. You wanna talk to someone? Talk to the dwarf. I'm busy. She has her weapon, her eyes glued to the door. I need to keep my eyes open for more of those little bastards. We can't let any more of them sneak in here. Not after what happened to Simon. Best of luck. Dwarf? Asan? Ayun. Eto. Sick dwarf. So, ito connected to dito. Okay. Buksan na rin natin. Just in case. Tignan lang. Ayan, connected. A stocky dwarf leans up against the wall of the container room. His skin is sallow and off off it hangs off of his bulky frame like a half-deflated balloon. You saw plenty of sick people back in the barrens. Addicts, BTL heads, people whose immune systems had been ravaged by disease. This guy looks worse. Okay na face mask yun ah. The dwarf's milky eyes track you as you approach. A wave of recognition washes over his face, but his movements remain lethargic. Eventually, he manages to slur out a few words. Gabet! Back after all this time? So ito ito yung Cadmus. Yeah, I'm sorry it's taken so long. Gabet stares at the dwarf wide-eyed. It's good to see you again, Cad. Gabet's told me about you. How are you feeling? Dwarf to dwarf conversation. Perfect. Thanks for asking. He struggles to contain a burst of coughing. I mean, I'm dying, and my home has gone to shit. And we're probably gonna sink into the bay. But otherwise, I'm great. Ganon eh, no? With a visible effort, he shifts his focus to Gabet. Welcome home, girl. Been a long time. She swallows. Cadmus, Save it, I'm not mad. He squeezes his eyes shut. I'm mostly just happy to hear your voice again. It's good to have a friend. Are you sick, Cadmus? Oh my, kita naman eh. Tell us what's happening here. There's a trapped room at the end of the hall. Know anything about that? We should go. Hang in there, man. Tell us what's happening here. Bad things. A lot of good people died. Something's gone rotten on this raft, Gabet. You know what I mean. Toxic. Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel it too. I could feel it all the way back home. Her throat moves, but it takes a moment for her voice to catch up. Cadmus, where are our friends? What happened to Yasmin and Anson and Malvina? Anson's dead. He never even made it into the sick room. Just disappeared. But I know where he went. He stabs a finger downward at the floor. Yasmin's still with us. Small favors, right? But the fight has gone out of her. She's content to do what she's told and tremble. Malvina ain't Malvina anymore. Saying, what is she? I guess that's much. Okay, say nating na lang muna. I was afraid of that. I just needed to hear you say it. She's gone toxic, hasn't she? She's gone toxic because of that damned bubble I gave her. It ain't her, Gabet. It's something else. He struggles to contain another cough. Eventually, it passes. But yeah, that shiny red egg that you and Sui lifted is the cause of it, I think. The ugliness was already inside of her, but the thing brought it out. She squeezes her eyes shut, balls her hands into fists. Shit. Cadmus, you said that Malvina isn't herself anymore. So what is she? It isn't your fault, Gabet. You had to give her that thing to stop the mutiny. I had the feeling that keeping that thing was a bad idea. I don't know. I know, Seattle. I did what I had to do. No regrets, but I'm pretty fucking angry about what happened afterwards. You and me both, kid. I'm as angry as I've ever been, and twice as frightened. His chest heaves as a deep bronchial cough racks his body. With a grimace of distaste, he spits out a wad of bloody phlegm. Ouch, ano ba yan? You haven't seen what happened to Malvina, what she's become. You need rest. We should put this on hold and... He raises a hand, cutting her short. Got no time to rest, and you need to hear this. What we're up against. You ever heard of a rat king? It's an old folklore thing. Bunch of rats all fused together, their tails all wrapped and twisted into a giant big knot. That's what Mal has become. I don't know how many different spirits she's tied her essence to. But the last time I opened my third eye to her, I couldn't see where they ended and she began. So para siya ano, ano parang yung sa ano sa kwento ni Jake Armitage, yung rat shaman doon. What does that even mean? I've never heard of. It means that she ain't human anymore, girl. Her aura is bound to other things, alien things, all tangled and twisted, and grown together. They're all one being now, a rat king. It talks like Malvina, but it ain't her anymore. So this rat king is still human, physically speaking. Is she possessed? Ito na lang. Don't know. I've heard rumors that Malvina's meat body is changing too. Haven't seen it myself. Don't know if I want to. Another long wet cough interrupts his speech. He wipes his mouth with the back of his hand. Are you sick, cat? The talisman that the Rat King is holding, the shiny object, do you know how it works? Did you try to fight this Rat King? When did all this start? It must have been some time after Gavat left. There's a trap room at the end of the hall. Know anything about it? Ito na lang muna. Nah, not long. Maybe a week or so. We couldn't see it at the time, but it was happening. I'd stake my life on it. I don't get this. Everything was fine when I left the raft. I mean, the vibe here had changed, but Malvina was still Malvina. If anything, she was even stronger than the woman I'd known. Yeah, she got strong, all right. Strong and mean. It started small, a couple of months after Tsui's mutiny. Mal- Malvina started proposing new rules. She said that she was cracking down on infractions, keeping order, to keep us safe. But over time, those rules started piling up, and gradually, the punishments started getting worse. She became paranoid. Do you think that the shiny object corrupted her somehow? Ato na lang. Obvious naman eh. Nah, I think that it gave her power, and she corrupted herself. No judgments though. I think that in her place, a lot of us would do the same. That's what I mean. What I say that she had it in her all along. I think that she'd always been afraid. Had always used rules to protect herself. The trinket took that fear and focused it like a lens, and that opened the door to what she's become. He pauses, checks himself. I don't think that Malvina can even be described as a she anymore. It is really a they. Our friend is dead or changed so much she might as well be she might as well be. And the things that are wearing her skin don't belong in this world. The talisman that the Rat King is holding, The shiny object, do you know how it works? Nah, I tried assessing, assessing it once. The only thing that I took away from the experience was a migraine. Felt like there were railroad spikes buried behind my eyes for days. All I can tell you for certain is that it still works. As long as the Rat King's connected to that thing, you can't hurt it. Any holes that you put in its body will close up on their own. So what are we expected to do against that? So it's invincible. Wonderful. I didn't say that it's the I didn't say that. It's the bubble that makes the Rat King what it is. So you're just gonna have to find a way to steal it. Gamat managed to do that during Tsui's rebellion. I'll bet that she could do it again. Okay, timer na. Next episode na lang natin tutuloy ito muna guys. Nag-timer na eh. We should go. Hang in there, hang in there, man. I ain't going nowhere. Be safe. Okay, save muna natin. Ano yun? Investigate the disturbances on a sinking ship. Find Cadmus. Ayan, nagawa na natin. Find Malvina. Save muna natin dito guys. Tunan na natin next episode. Okay guys, kaya saan ba lang sa signing off? Next episode na lang ulit.